Hello, everyone. I just wanted to jump on here and do the Sacred Money Day 5 live for today. All about abundance, already abundant. So for those of you that listen to Mason, no, it's my dog. He's like rubbing his face all over my couches. So those of you who listen to the Day 5, Mason, come here. Come here. Come here. He's like, what? I'm not doing anything. Anyway, for those of you who listened, hi Jamie, to the Day 5 meditation attunement, then you know the power that was for this day. It was really, really amazing. So I'm going to give everyone a few more minutes to jump on here so that we can do this last day, because today is the Day 5, the last day of the Sacred Money Challenge, which has been fun. It's been good. It's reawakened within me as well. Hi, Adriana. It's reawakened within me as well, an even stronger connection to the divine and to source. So I'm hoping that it has done everything like that for all of you, which I'm sure that it has, because I get nothing but amazing feedback and messages, and everybody's just having a really good time with it. So let's just have like a few more, and then we'll just start. For those of you who don't make it on live, it's fine. You can just, hi Liana, you can just watch the recording. So let's just get connected first before I even go into this. I have a lot of information to tell you. So everyone just take a deep breath into your heart and just let it all go. Let the day go. Today's Friday. We're headed into the weekend. It's time to just let go of all the moments that came before this one, the moments that are coming after this one, and really just tune into that. Yes, I have always had a nose ring. You probably can just see it more because of the lighting in my kitchen, but it's a heart. Okay, so tuning into your heart space and just allowing that to flow through your body. You know, too often during the day we're living mostly in our head space. You know, we're traveling around the world, just living in our head space, and we forget to really tune into our heart. And our heart is where all of our power is. It's also where the magic is. So just allowing yourself to really tune into that space for a moment, and just taking a deep breath into it, and allowing yourself to feel in tune with your body, because your body is going to be what is doing the magnetizing for you. So if you're not feeling good, you're not attracting good. You're going to attract what you're feeling. So one of the key things that I wanted to really have come across today is that you are already abundant. If you are on Facebook, if you have a computer, if you have a phone, if you drive a vehicle, you're already abundant. So what we tend to do, especially in America, what humans in general, but in America, is we're at this level of living, and then we see all these people that are up here at this level of living, and what it does is it causes us to not appreciate where we are so that we can get to whatever level we want. It causes us to see the gap. And so when we see the gap, it triggers all of these emotions within us, and it keeps us from being able to ever achieve or attain those levels. So one of the things to override that is to just stay in your body. And when you see those things in your reality, rather than, hi Colleen, rather than judging them, saying, look at what I have to look forward to. Because if one person can do it, then that means everyone can do it. So making sure that you are staying in that space rather than in the space of I don't have, or they have more than me, and really monitoring your thoughts. So I know I asked you guys to monitor the way that you're experiencing money, and so how is that going? Hi Megan. Are you noticing when you're spending money how you feel? Are you noticing when you're receiving money how you feel? Because the only way that we can begin to really transform our money story is to pay attention to how we feel when we're interacting with it. All feelings of it, right? The core feelings, not the overriding, because this is a whole thing about subconscious programming. You can spend all day long overriding all of those triggers that are occurring, but that's not the way to get what it is that you want. The way to get what it is that you want is to reprogram your subconscious mind, and then your subconscious mind is a reinforcer for those things that you desire, not having to constantly talk yourself into a new way of being. So this is why I design the courses the way that I design them, is to get you to dream, because that's the first thing that you need to do, is you need to have dreams and visions and goals. For number one. Number two is, after you have the dream, you have to go to work clearing out the internal dysfunction and that has created your level of living now, so that you can achieve that. And then three is instilling all of those positive beliefs and new conditioning in your consciousness. And all it takes is getting your brain to see a new way of being, so then it takes it on as a truth immediately, rather than you having to force it. So what I always say, my work is like doing the programming first, and then everything else in your reality reaffirms it. What we're taught to do is to go through life memorizing, right? Memorizing ABCs. Hi, Sherry. Memorizing, in the English language, we have our words, and then we have to write the definition. We have to write them 10 times, and that's because that's repetition. So the way that we learn is repetition over and over and over and over again. But when we have traumas that we've experienced, it's an imprint in our consciousness, and it doesn't matter what kind of repetition you do, you cannot override that. So you have to reprogram yourself at the subconscious level. Okay, so one of the things too that I wanted to talk about that have been coming up, I think Liana said something, where to go? Oh yeah, so much is coming up. Today really amplified the deep underlying sense of lack and fear and need to control and opportunities to love and be abundant. Yes, and if you root that all the way to the beginning, it's because you didn't get those things when you were a child. It doesn't matter how good or well-intended our parents were. We all came into this reality choosing our parents. We came into this reality with certain imprints, energetic imprints already, because remember, we're not babies when we're born. Like, even though it appears that way, we're souls that are very ancient, that come into this reality on purpose and choose the parents that we choose on purpose, not to get stuck in it like what normally happens, but to realize that. And as we get older and we elevate our consciousness and we awaken more, we understand that there's things that we can do to transform all of that, because there is. And once you do, you live a completely different life experience. So one of the things that I remember for me, and I actually just found a journal that I wrote in from 2011 to 2013. I had all these things written in it. So, and it was all things that I'm now experiencing. So one of the things that I also wanted to say to you is, even though you may not think that the things that you're writing or the things that you're dreaming or the vision boards that you're putting together are happening, they are happening, and they will happen. And the more you become in alignment with them, the faster you'll experience it, and it won't take years for that to happen. You can already see the things that you've put on your vision boards starting to come into being, especially those of you that are in my course. You know, we're already like on our second vision boards. So the problem is the fear of feeling abundant where you are. Most people don't want to, and I remember even me, I didn't want to look at where I was and be grateful for it, because I was afraid that I was going to keep it there. But that's not actually what keeps it there. What keeps it there is the judgment of it. So always being in judgment. So today and tomorrow and through the weekend, I challenge you to check yourself when you go into a state of judgment for anything. It doesn't matter what it is, because if you can monitor your judgment, then you can see how you can let it go. So number one rule is you have to accept where you are, and acceptance means you release the handbrake. I used to have this affirmation up on my mirror that said, I release the handbrake, I accept where I am. Because every time you judge, you're like stopping yourself, right? It's like a stop and go experience. And if you want to flow out of it, you have to accept where you are where you are, and you also have to accept where you're going where you're going. And the way to accept where you are is by knowing that you're already abundant and having gratitude for things that you are already experiencing. So like I said in earlier lives, I used to have to be grateful for the water coming out of my faucet and all of the people that, broke their backs to lay those pipelines for me so that I could have running water and a toilet and all of these things. I had to start looking at my reality differently before my reality would show up differently, and that's how it always is. So do not be afraid to be grateful for where you are or what you're experiencing now, so that you can experience more. Like, that's the fastest way to do it. I wish I would have had like a little stand or something to put this on, because my arm is getting tired. Let's see. Are the what if questions considered judging? Megan asks. What do you mean? Elaborate on that. And then I will answer that question. So I'm going to give you some questions to ask yourself every day as you wake up to kind of like open up that reality too, so that you can experience more. So like a what if question. What do you mean, Megan? Okay, I'll wait for you to answer that. I also wanted to ask all of you, how long have you been immersed in these teachings? You know, how long have you been immersed in the law of attraction? How long have you been immersed in you knowing that you are the creator, that your energetic being, your body, your cells, everything is sending out an energy that must be created, that must be returned. And it's not a woo-woo experience. It is a very scientific law of cause and effect. You're the cause, the effect is life. That is how it is. And the only way to change life is to affect the cause, which is you, which is tuning into your soul, then reprogramming your brain so that then you're all on the same page in alignment with what it is that you're here to do. So asking yourself also how long you've been immersed in all of this, and how long have you been immersed in the truth of your power? Like, how long have you really known that you are a powerful being and that you are doing the creating in your life? How long have you been doing that? How long have you been reading the books and discovering this and tuning into this and really engaging it so that it's a truth, not just a concept? Because it is a truth. And you have to do the work internally to align yourself with what it is that you want to experience in order for you to experience it. Some people just get lucky. It's not luck. They're also on autopilot. I always say I'm not lucky, I'm blessed, because I'm very intentional with what I do and what I create. That's why I know that it works. Before, when I was creating on autopilot, I was not intentional, and some things would manifest and some things wouldn't. And I never really understood why until I reached the point where it was like, you're either going to drop to your knees in prayer or you're going to be dropped to your knees in reverence, because that's just the way life is. You know, we have to, unfortunately, humans have to be in some kind of pain before they'll move out of their situation. So for those of us who are experiencing or have experienced negative life happenings, we're blessed. It really is a blessing, because I know if I wouldn't have been experiencing so much of this, I wouldn't have been even wanted to move. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be wanting to change. I wouldn't have discovered what I discovered and then wanted to teach other people it. I wouldn't have gone to school to, get my licensing to be a master neurolinguistic programming practitioner. I wouldn't have done any of that. I would have just stayed where I was because I was fine there. Liana said 15 years on and off. The light wins for a while, then the darkness. This is the first time I felt like I'm really getting it and making friends with the darkness and stepping into the light. Yeah, yes, that's a really good point, because people are so afraid of the darkness, but let me just tell you, even the darkness is a work of God, because I just had this conversation earlier with one of my clients too. If the creator is the ultimate creator, we are here under free will, right? We are choosing the darkness because we're learning from it. Out of contrast creates desire. So you have to learn that you are stronger than any darkness, and that it is there to teach you and to help you and to learn. It's also how I help clients who are psychic and who are in tune with a lot of different realms, because we live in a reality where there's multi-dimensions, right? We're multi-dimensional beings. Like we can go into different dimensions with our energetic frequencies all the time. Like you can go into the dimension of anger and experience your world through anger. You can go into the dimension of love, experience your world through love. There's also other portals, for lack of a better word. And so when I'm working with clients who are psychically gifted and have had those experiences, you learn that they're there to teach you also, and then they no longer have power. So it's the same thing over the negative situations in your life. It's there to teach you. It does not have power over you. So just surrendering all of that victimhood. Let's see. Before you happened to mention it, I was just thinking that one of the best things I have learned since joining this group is that I am very aware of old negative comments and judgment. I try to leave my life being kind to others and also myself. Good energy and karma. Thank you, Rangina. You're welcome. Also remembering that when someone says something to you that triggers you, you have to dig into that and find out what that is, because there's a root experience that you had that your subconscious mind is telling you that wounding was like an assault, was like I always say, if you're healed and someone throws salt at you, it doesn't hurt. But if you have little entry points or like woundings and someone throws salt at you, that shit's gonna hurt like a mofo. So like the salt is like the assault. So when you clear that out, other people change in your reality. Like you can have the most dysfunctional relationship, and the minute you heal yourself, your relationship will heal also. One thing too is, even when you think it's not working, it is working. It is 1,000,000% working. I know there were so many years that I thought it wasn't working, but it really was working. The most amazing thing for me is that it didn't take very long. So after I did my NLP licensing, in that course, we had to do it on each other. This is also the way that I'm designing my academy too, for those of you who want to be certified in the Divine Effect. Because you have to be able to do it on somebody else to be able to be efficient at it. So when we were in this course, we would do this on each other. And there was this one process that we did that I do in my courses also, and it is the fast forward to the end of your life, right? So in your, Dina just said mofo, love it. So in your consciousness, in your brain, you have all of these patterns, and when you go and you do a visualization, when you're in a trance, it programs it in your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind learns metaphor, which is why the Bible is all stories, which is why all the ancient civilizations told in story. It's all metaphor, right? Because that's how our subconscious mind learns, is in metaphor. And it's also how the language of it, which is why we understand picturing. So when you have this process done and you're taken to the very end of your life, and you're able to like sprinkle what it is that you want to experience. So for me, I wrote my eulogy first, what I wanted people to say when I was gone, my footprint that I left on this planet. And then when we did this process, I was taken along a path and sprinkled all these seeds of enlightenment and seeing what my impact was doing to the world, and for the world, and for the women in the world, and all of these other things, the dreams and desires that I had. And so when I got to the end of my life, I was an old woman on my deathbed, and all of my family was there, and I had fulfilled my purpose. And so having that feeling and that vision and that connection, I know that because I did that, that's why I'm doing what it is that I'm doing today. So Megan, you were there, Karine, you were there, Liana, you were there, Nikki, I don't think you were in that one, but I know you're in the one coming up. But anyways, the ones who have done the NLP Divine Effect reverse timeline, remember when we did that? That has like planted such a huge seed, and also it starts to awaken you to your soul's purpose of a higher calling on your life than just what you're experiencing in your day to day. And then that's when you experience the sense of fulfillment. So this stuff I know works, not only in my own life, but even the girl that I had done it with in school, she is also doing really amazing things, because we programmed ourselves with that inner soul knowing to be able to do these things. So what I'm telling you is that everything is an imprint in your subconscious mind. And even to exemplify this even more, I have a little card that I wrote on that said, it says, you will leave a trail of stars in your path. And so for me, that means that I will teach other women how to be stars too, so that we can all, Megan says, yes, it was amazing. I know, right? It's so amazing. So so I can teach them all. And on the inside of this card, I wrote, as if God was writing a letter to me, Randina, you have a higher calling on your life. You are here to be the light of the world, God, right? And so I always knew the power of the subconscious mind, but this is even more in depth. So I took that little thing and I folded it up and I stuck it on my wall. And so every single time I walk by that, it triggers my mind and I see it, even if I'm not consciously aware of it, and I'll look at it. It's just a little tiny thing. And I'll look at it and my brain will remember what God wrote in there, and I'll be like, yeah, and like keep going, right? And so all these little imprints in your reality are doing the same thing to you. Some of them are negative, some of them are positive, but you have to start deliberately doing this. So go to the store, go to Target, get a card that says something about your magnificence right on the inside of it, and stick it on your wall, stick it on your vision board, because I swear to you, every time you walk by it, you will remember that, and you'll think about it, and it will trigger something in you, and it'll be even more momentum to go forward and do what it is that you came here to do. You have to be the one. We're here under free will. God can only do so much. You know, like the Creator can only get us out of so many emergency situations, can only send us so many windfalls before it's like, okay, you got to figure out how to do this on your own because you keep getting yourself in the same situation you were in. So now it's all about the programming. Remember, even when you think it's not working, it's not. Just try that and you'll see. Try that. I challenge you to do that today, even to get a piece of paper and stick it on the back of your, write something on it, fold it up and stick it on the back of your bathroom door and write a heart on it, or just a regular piece of paper. And then when you walk by that, you will think, you'll know what that piece of paper says, and you will think about it and it'll trigger something inside of you. Korean said, wait till you get your card. I can't wait, I'm so excited. So it will trigger something inside of you, and then you'll realize in that moment the power of your subconscious mind. Subconscious programming has been what has been happening to us since we were born. Since we were born, you've been imprints, little imprints, and people tend to think, oh, well, that happened when he was 2 years old, or that happened when she was 3 years old, that it doesn't matter. Yes, it very much does matter, because just like a water molecule that accumulates all of the picturing images that it sees along the track from the top of the mountain down to the river, you are the same. You are an accumulation of every single moment of experience that has ever happened. And until you flip that around and start deliberately making positive experiences, you only have the past to trigger. So start making your environment even more abundant and even better. I have quotes everywhere, all over my house. My entire house is a vision board, because it's like a feel good. It keeps you, especially in this world that we live in, 90% of the collective consciousness is very heavy and down right now. We have to be that 10%, right? We have to be the imaginary cells. If you don't know what an imaginary cell is, an imaginary cell is the cells inside a butterfly that happen when the butterfly goes from being a caterpillar to turning to mush, then turning to a butterfly. There's imaginary cells. There's not an actual cell that is programmed for the DNA of a butterfly. It's called an imaginary cell because there's cells in there that have no programming, but something, that life force, programs it to tell all the other cells what to do. It's the same light force that's in each and every one of your cells. You are the imaginary cell. We are the imaginary cells for this world, so that we can be the light, and then we can then tell them to be the light, and then they see that we're living this higher vibrational reality, being the magnificent creators of the feminine divine that we are. And so then they're like, well, what is she doing? I want to do that. And then you're like, oh, well, let me teach you, because this is real and this is how it works. And now let's all do it. So we are the imaginary cells. Remember that. Isn't that amazing? When I heard Greg Braden say that, I was just like, oh my God, I love that. Okay. So there's questions to ask yourself every day. One of them is, wouldn't it be awesome if today, and then what your desire is. So wouldn't it be awesome if today, I manifested a windfall, right? It just came from nowhere. Wouldn't it be awesome? So you want to ask yourself like opening questions, because that's how you're going to experience what it is that you want to experience. Opening questions. We're always asking ourselves wrong questions. That's another thing too, is pay attention to the way that you're asking yourself questions, especially when you get into a challenging situation. You'll see what your brain patterns are, and only when you see what they are can you change them. So start asking yourself more opening questions. The one I ask myself every day is, what if today was the day my life changed forever? When I wake up in the morning, I say, what if today is the day my life changed forever? It wasn't until I started asking that question that things started really happening for me very quickly. Start asking yourself that and watch what happens. Another thing to remember is the kingdom of heaven is within. The kingdom of heaven is within. There's a reason that it says this everywhere: as within, so without, as above, so below, because we have to reprogram this inner world. And you have the key. You have the key. You can do it. Okay, and then another thing is to have your intent. You have to have an intention for everything. Oh, my phone started ringing. I thought I was going to end it. I'm so glad it didn't. So what is your intention for your life? And then you decide and you commit. You have to commit to the process. You have to commit to everything. You can't just decide and then keep going. You have to decide and then commit to the process. Be more committed to this than you are to anything. Do this as if your life depends on it, because it does. It really does. When you don't have your money shit together and you get to the point in life where you are like not happy and it's eating you alive from the inside out, and you're on medications and you're looking for the next supplement and nothing is making you happy from the inside, you can't You cannot sustain that way. Like, that is not a way to live. You have to get your money game down, because your true desire is freedom. Everybody's true desire is freedom, is to be free. I mean, we came here to be free, to create what we wanted to create, and instead we come here and we have all these limitations from all these people and all these learnings from our elders that are teaching us and telling us that we're caged, that we're in jail. I mean, look at the way people view the government, you know? I mean, look at the way people view money. Everything jails us, and that's not what our desire is. Our desire is to be free. Right, is to have that freedom to do what it is that we want to do. And if one woman can do it, then all of us can do it. It's not only to her, it's to everyone. The kingdom of heaven is within. And it's not just like, oh, go within and love yourself, and then, you know, there's your kingdom of heaven. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is the kingdom of heaven is within. If you're not happy with that heaven, fucking switch it around. Right? Like, fix it. Like, do what you need to do to fix it. I mean, I have courses that teach you exactly how to do this. There's nothing but testimonials all over the group about women who have joined it. I'm not just talking shit. It's fucking real. It's real, okay? It's real. Let's see, what's the next one? Oh, this is another one. This is a good one for visualizing. So one of the ways that you know that your visualizing is working is if it feels real. So if you're in your visualizing in the morning and there's that point when you're visualizing and your vision is aligned with your third eye, because this is where your vision comes from, and it aligns with your heart. So it's from the feeling, from the heart, and then the vision, and then it clicks and it feels real. Even if it's only for like 10 seconds, it has happened. It will show up in your reality. It has to, because your subconscious mind just accepted that. Your subconscious mind just accepted that truth. I'm going to have a holographic creation course, because we all need to know how to do this. Like 100% every single time that we go to visualize. We all need to know how to do this. Your brain actually stores fantasy in another area. So like, if you are trying to visualize, you close your eyes and you're like thinking of, oh, I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to fly around on the wing of an airplane and, you know, have amazing sex with everybody, or whatever it is for you. I don't know why that came to my mind right now. I probably need to have sex, to be honest. Maybe your vision is being, a world speaker or whatever. If you do not believe it at least higher than a 7, your brain is going to put it in your fantasy category. It won't be aligned in your third eye. It'll be over to the right or over to the left. You can feel where your vision is on the panel of seeing. And so when I say vision, I don't necessarily mean you have to exactly see every detail. When I say vision, I mean it's like a knowing, right? For me, like I don't always see, like if I want a new couch, I don't always see the couch, but I can see it, right? Like it's not like I'm actually seeing it. When I think of a lemon, this is another thing too. People think they can't visualize, but they can. Think of a lemon, right? Like close your eyes for a minute and think of a lemon. Like, what does it look like? Now think of biting into it. Like it starts to activate your body in a physiological way, right? So you can visualize. Just because you're not seeing it doesn't mean that it's not there. It is there. You know what it is. It's a knowing. So when you have that knowing and it's aligned in your third eye and then in your heart, it comes to pass. I mean, I'm like so good at this that I can do it for my entire next week. Even down to like sentences that people say. I remember I got so good at it, it started to freak me out. And I was like, oh my gosh, do I really have to do this for every fucking thing? Like, this is exhausting. But that you don't have to do it for everything. That's why I only do it for the major things now, and I just kind of let life take its place. I know that happened to teach me that it was possible to be able to plan your entire week out. I mean, even down to sentences that people would say. Like, it was insane and incredible also. So that is what I have for you. Remembering when you visualize and it feels done, it is done. Okay, do you guys have any questions about day 5? Corinne said, is it kind of like when you think about what you want for dinner and you think of what you want? And yes, yeah. And because there's like no limitations on that, it's wide open, you can create it. That's how it is to creating money too. That's how it is to creating a business. That's how it is to creating a body that you want. That's how it is to creating or manifesting a relationship that you want. It's exactly like that. It's just that there's so many limitations in worthiness and deservingness and all this stuff comes in play that we don't allow it to unfold as easy as making dinner. But it is the same. So if you can tune into that space and then put that there. So it's actually a process that I'm going to teach in the holographic creation course. When I do that, that's probably not going to be until like June. Because the reason I'm teaching the Sacred Money course now is because opening to your power, which is what the power of a woman is, and the sacred money are both pieces that you need to fulfill your life purpose and do it on purpose and teach other people. So ultimately, the women who are really drawn to me are the ones who are here to be the light workers of the world, like on a grand scale. That is also how I do my intake. I know specifically the soul purpose of each of my clients and what they're here to do, and the ones who work with me and what they're here to do on that scale, so that we can all do it together, because the time is now. The troops are rallying, literally. The only way that God is going to be able to transform this planet and this reality is through us, because we're here under free will. We have to be in congruence with it also, which we are, because we need to be. I mean, kind of just have to be. I mean, humanity kind of depends on it. So when I say it's not just about you, it's real. It is not just about you. So look for that holographic creation, because it's an actual NLP, angelic divine effect process for taking those visions of, say, if like you want to manifest, like a new business, or even like a big house or something, or a man, right? When you close your eyes and you see that it's going to be somewhere, it's not going to be in the 100% knowing. So what I do is I teach your brain how to take it from fantasy and put it in knowing through a process. It's like a swish around process, and then connect it to your heart, so then it manifests instantaneously. It's really amazing. Let's see, Megan said, so do you know their soul purpose before you start working directly with them? When I tap into the energy, yes, I can tap into what the soul purpose is. And first of all, one of the things too that I always say for any coach is not to tell people, because I also learned this too. Even when I'm going in and doing the reprogramming in the brain, when clients are in trance, I'm not telling them what the root is. I know what it is already, because I can feel into the energy space and say it. And this is the thing. When you tell someone, like it's the same thing as going to a psychic. Like you can go to a psychic and she could tell you you're going to win the lottery next month or something like that. And you will be like, okay, you kind of believe it. And if it just happens to you, it's more of like, whoa, you kind of figured it out on your own. So if I go in and I say, this is your problem and this is what we need to do to fix it, without guiding you there first, your subconscious mind just takes it as another concept. But when I am in communication with your subconscious mind and we're talking and we're flowing through and I'm like guiding you, hi Amanda, then you become more resourceful and can do it more on your own too. So in my discovery sessions, it's a little bit different, because when you come to me and we're talking about having a session together, I just tap in and I say, this is what happened to you at this point in time, and this is what we have to do to clear that out. But when we're actually going in to do the reprogramming, it's more of a guided. So with the soul purpose process, this is why I also take you through the soul purpose, is because it's almost like this self-discovery. Like I can tell you your purpose is to be a light worker. I already know that about you, Megan. Like I know that that's what it is. That's what you already are. And so if I just tell you that, it's a little bit different than you going through in a meditation and getting the download and receiving it yourself. So, Nikki, I must say I love you, but I also love that lipstick. Thank you. They don't make it anymore, actually. I had to buy like 15 of them. I'm not kidding. I couldn't believe they stopped making it. Anyways, Amanda said, it is the most incredible feeling and release ever. Yes. So that is one of the benefits of using my gifts with also my licensing and my skills too, because it's so much more than just energy. It's the brain patterns that need to be reprogrammed. And like I was saying, if I just tell you what it is, then your subconscious mind doesn't discover it on its own. So it's it's a little bit harder to untangle it. So if I kind of like guide you to it and ask your subconscious mind to show you, because it knows exactly what it is that it's protecting you from, like if it's not going to allow you to achieve something because it has a fear of what's on the other side because of something that you witnessed when you were younger. So it's the best way to communicate with your subconscious mind in general. Megan said, if the other person is blocking your tapping, like I totally was. I know you were, but I still was able to because you were in agreement with it also. Plus you were busy that day too. Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing too. I don't just tap into people. That's weird. I would never do that. First of all, it's exhausting because when I was little, that's how it was, just open, and everybody that would come into my reality, everybody that would come into my consciousness, I could just see into their whole energy field and their timeline. It was scary. Like, it was really scary. I didn't like it. I would hide behind my dad a lot, especially like if we'd go out in public, which is a lot of the reason why I didn't like to go out in public when I got older too. I like to stay inside because there was just too much going on, too much people. But I had to learn how to seal it and only be within myself. And then if I felt like doing it, because there's some people you just don't want to tap into. You just don't. Now I know how to filter that subconsciously, so those memories don't stay in my field either. So it was a lot of learning. You know, when you're a sensitive being, when you're a sentient being, and you come here to this planet to heal others and tap into others, the more sensitive you are, the more hard, the more difficult it is to maintain your own space if you're tapping into other people's realities. So I do not like to do that. I only do it when I have to do it, and it's always for the purpose of uplifting and elevating, never to just, look inside. Besides, most of the things that people have experienced, I have personally experienced as well. Okay. Yeah, Susan said, I want to discover it on my own because when I do, it will be fucking amazing. Here's another thing too, is that you have a soul purpose. Everyone has a soul purpose, but it's never the thing that you are think it is, right? Like, we're already living our soul purpose. The goal is to discover the platform that's going to allow you to reach more people and expand into different levels, rather than just staying where you are and doing what you're doing. So everyone has a unique soul purpose. Some women's soul purpose is to be the best mom that they can to all of their children. Some women's soul purpose is to be in front of the camera. Some women's soul purpose is to be behind the camera. Some women's soul purpose is to heal others. So it really just depends on what it is, but you're already living it. That's one of the things that I had to realize too, is that I was already living it, which is why in the course I say, send the email to 5 people that are in your reality that you have impacted, and ask them, because you're already living it. Now you just want to find the platform so that you can actually monetize it and make money doing it, because that is the most fulfilling thing to do, no matter what it is that you're currently doing. Like, learning how to monetize your gifts and your talents and your ability, it seriously is so rewarding, because we're meant to be compensated for our healing abilities. I mean, when you're a healer, the way that you help other people is so profound that there is no amount of money that could ever pay you back for what it is that you contributed to their life. That's like, money is like money, paper money. I mean, before we used to use like crystals and shells and, baked goods and chickens, that we don't remember that shit when we die. We're not like, oh, how many chickens did I have? Or, oh, how many dollars did I have? Like, no, we remember the impact that we made on other people's lives. Like, that's what the soul wealth is. So that is what is the most important for me too, and I know that that's what is the most important for all of you too, especially all of you on this live stream with me, or who's going to be watching this recording. Christina, I was like that when I was little, never understood what was going on, and I would get in trouble for being shy. Yeah, I know. It's just because we're sensitive and we don't know how to control it, but I know that's all part of the journey also. Nikki said, my daughter's the same way. She has a hardcore empath, and now that I understand, I don't force her to do anything or hug anyone she does not want to. Yeah, you can actually teach her how to seal her field, Nikki. So make sure that she is, every single day when she takes a shower, she does a rainbow shower, which is like visualizing the rainbows, like the rainbow coming down, because the rainbow is a culmination of all the chakras and all of the healing, everything, every energy that you need is the rainbow. So when you're taking a shower at night, and this can apply to everybody, I do this every single night. When you're taking a shower at night, you just visualize and feel the water as it's a rainbow cleansing your aura, and then you call in Archangel Michael and you dissolve all hooks, cords, and attachments to any person, place, or thing that may be attached to you, because we are energetic beings. 95% of our communication is done at the subconscious level. This is why when you think of somebody, then they just happen to call you, because we're all connected energetically. So when you dissolve all of that, when you call upon Archangel Michael to dissolve all of that energy, that's energetic entanglements, even from people out in the world, all thought forms will come into your reality. You free yourself of that. Another thing to do also is to ask yourself, when you feel upset, is this mine? Is this mine? And you'll get an answer. And if the answer is no, you send it back. You swipe down your body. What's mine is mine. What's theirs is theirs. I send this energy back to the person, to wherever it came from, with love and light. And that works 100% of the time. I very rarely get a yes that it's mine. Like this morning I wasn't feeling that great and I was driving in the car and I was like, is this mine? And it was like, yes. And I was kind of shocked and I was like, yes, what the hell? What the fuck is it then? And so what it was, and the first thing that came to my mind was mochi. I absolutely love mochi, but I programmed myself with the Godiva chocolate that I just actually did on Janelle about sugar. I programmed myself to know that when I consume sugar, that it depletes my hormones and that sugar is actually a depressant, because it really is. And it kills your cells, and so it causes aging as well. And then it also messes up your hormones. So I like flashed that in my mind, and believe me, I tried to reprogram myself so that I didn't view sugar like that. It didn't work. I still view sugar like that, which was really sad. At the same time, I know it's better for me to not, but I just love sugar so much. Like, I've always been such a sugar person. So last night I had 2 chocolate mochi balls, the ice cream balls. I had like a big scoop of the mint chocolate chip ice cream and a cookie. Yes, I'm going to start my period. So that's why I was eating like that. But I forgot that I ate like that. So when I'm driving, I'm like, I don't feel good. What is this? Is this mine? You know, I'm like doing my driving. I'm like, is this mine? And then it's like, yes. I was like, wait, what? What the heck? And then I saw the mochis and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, all right, like I won't. And so then what I found a way around it, which does work, is I say, okay, so I ask the God in my heart, I ask that all negative effects of the food I consumed be undone across all times, dimensions, spaces, and realities, from the core of my being, the roots of my origins, to all that I am, cells, DNA, genetics, right? And so then what happens is it goes away. And then I say, and all the positive effects of everything that I consumed be strengthened and quickened across all times, dimensions, spaces, and realities. And then I go back through and do the cellular thing. And then it goes away. So I'm assuming that I could do that for everything, because I do that even when I eat pizza, because I don't really eat pizza very much. But then when I do, you feel heavy because it's like carbohydrates, and it does work. It does work. So just know that clearing statement will reprogram that. However, if you're heavy sugar, if you consume a lot of sugar, I would just stop consuming sugar, because you can't be doing that every single day. You cannot do that every day. So I did that this morning, and then I felt better, but it was funny. So always saying what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, because you'll know that especially when you're walking through crowds, you'll just you pick it up. We don't realize that we're picking it up, but we do pick it up, and we think it's ours, and it's not. Just like even if you're triggered, something happens and then you're triggered, you can always say, is this mine? And a lot of times it's not. It's your mom's or it's your dad's, and so you send it back. Okay, I send it back with a light of love. And so doing that in the shower for your daughter, cutting all hooks, cords, and attachments for the connections that you've made throughout the day, only keeping the positive, because remember, when you cut the hooks, cords, and attachments, you cannot cut love cords. It doesn't happen that way. You only cut the negative ones that are limiting you. And then you seal your field with the white light of divine love, always sealing your field. So when I first started playing with all this stuff, I'd never believed it. Like, I didn't believe that it worked. I was like, this is just woo-woo. But then I read studies by William Broad. If you don't know who that is, you need to look that up, because he is a famous quantum physicist. He's a scientist. And so he did studies with different groups of people, where he had students in one room that had made little dolls of themselves and then given to healers in a totally different building that was like ironclad. You couldn't get energy through there. There was no cell signal, nothing. And so the students, they were all attached to the autonomic nervous system detectors, like if you're a lie detector test, kind of like that, measures your heart, your blood, and all of that. So when the healers then were told at intervals to start doing like different healing work on these dolls, and so they would do the healing work on the dolls, and at the same exact time, the autonomic nervous system machine would kick up and start going, and then they would stop, and then it would like go back to normal. Well, he did this study again with thought impulses, like sending thoughts to other people, and negative thoughts, and it was penetrating, and the machine would go like that when there was the negative thoughts. And so then what he had them do was shield themselves with whatever it was that they felt protected from, either like a realm of clouds or brick or whatever it is, the white light of divine love, like flowing that around. And so when the thought projections were sent, they didn't have any more activity. So then I'm like, okay, this really does work. So I started using it, and it does work. It really does. So remember, we are energetic beings. We do command the energy. You are more powerful than you ever know, and just doing these little tiny things are going to make huge shifts in your reality. It's so in-depth and it's so amazing. And you also program your subconscious mind to do differently, to act differently, to behave differently. So when your subconscious mind believes that you're protected, you know, like you're sealed and you're protected, even think about the 5-day manifesting challenge. Every day we're sending the angels out before us to smooth our path. Every day we are surrounding ourselves with the white light of divine love and sending that energy from our sugar calcifies the pineal gland too. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense. I'm not saying it does or doesn't. I have never read that, but I do know that fluoride does. Fluoride calcifies the pineal gland, so I wouldn't doubt it if it does. Just it's not good for you. It's a depressant. Like it really is bad. Artificial sugar is really bad for you. It like eats your brain. So, anyways, what I was saying about I kind of lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? The subconscious mind and the imprints and everything that we've been talking about on this live about the subconscious mind and the imprints. So when you have yourself programmed to know that you're surrounded, just like the 5-day stuff that we're doing, you can see that you feel differently throughout the day. So start doing it at night. Do your rainbow shower at night, and you'll see how differently you sleep and how differently you wake up as well. Subconscious programming is the key. It is the way to do it, which is why in the Sacred Money Workshop, we are going through our old money story, the story that we've been living with our entire lives, and redoing it all, because subconsciously, when you do these rituals, when you do these things, you program your subconscious mind for something different. You can't experience anything different until you tell your brain that you want that different thing. So, and it's not just a want that's like out there in the midst of all the autopilot chaos that's going on. It's a want with an intention and a decision and a commitment and a desire to experience it, and then it comes into being. It's kind of like if you start saying, oh, I really love white BMWs, and then that's your program to your subconscious mind, and then you start seeing white BMWs everywhere. It's the same thing with money. If you're like, oh, I really would like to have my money story healed, I really would like to have more money to do more things that I want to do, to be in flow and to really feel valuable, then that's what you're telling your subconscious mind that you want to do. So the Sacred Money, again, is the www.sacredmoneyworkshop.com. If you have not signed up for that, I would do that. I would highly recommend doing that because, like I said before, that's just going to clear you out. We're going to do NLP processes in there. Kevin is amazing. Kevin who? I don't know how to say that last name. Trudeau? I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to do NLP processes in there to reprogram your brain. You have a rich girl, poor girl. So there's a rich girl in your mind, there's a poor girl in your mind, and we want to make the rich girl stronger. So it would be more like a wealthy, loving being rather than what you're living under. I'm going to have to look in to see who this Kevin person is. Corinne, can you send me something on him? Because apparently he's amazing. Okay, so remember, I think that's all for my notes. And so remember to love and protect yourself and love and protect yourself up. And if I can, I'll do a wrap-up live this weekend. If not, then I'll see you all next week. But I hope you all have a beautiful weekend, and thank you for doing the Sacred Money Challenge. Remember, you're already abundant. Remember to feel the feeling as though it's already happened, and it will flow into reality. Mwah. Love you all.